Sorry I could not be there today. I'm at a conference today, but I did want to get you kind of started on this activity. So I'm going to do just a brief introduction about our VEX kits that we're going to use in our new modules. All grades are starting new modules starting next week. And third grade, you're going to be working on simple machines, and you'll be building some of those simple machines. Fourth grade, we're going to be working on energy conversions, looking at how energy converts from one form to another. You'll be building a couple of different things to help you learn about that. And then fifth grade, obviously, you're going to be building your robots with the VEX kits. And so I did want to introduce you to the VEX kits today, get you started with the routines and the expectations that go along with them. Because one of the things that you need to know is that these are not cheap. These are expensive tools, and we do need to treat them with respect because they are expensive tools. They're tools that are meant to and should last us for quite some time, for years beyond after you're gone. We want to be able to say that we treated these well so that those future classes can continue to build and do the things that you guys were able to do with them. These aren't something that we take home. Whatever we build in class usually stays in class or will be taken apart. And so I wanted to get you thinking about some of those expectations today. Okay? So the first thing that you're going to notice when you look at this picture here is that the top of the box, there's going to be kind of two parts to this box. In the top, it is organized quite well, and it doesn't come like this. I have to take the time to organize it this way. The reason I do take the time to organize it and just don't throw all the pieces in the bottom of the kit is because we do builds throughout the module where you're going to have to find specific pieces in order to complete those builds. With organizing it like this, the hope is that you're able to actually find the pieces that you want to find. And so the first part, kind of organizational wise with the kit, is this top of the kit. On the top of the kit, we have all of our small pieces. And so you'll see like all the little blue connector pieces are put together. Some of them are different sizes, but we put them all together. You'll have like your big gears together, some of the other pieces that we put together. And we do want to keep these as organized as possible, again, so that you can actually find those pieces. And so when you get your kits today, take a look at how the top is organized. Not every single kit looks exactly the same. Like, I'm not organized enough to say that the small gears have to go in this bottom right-hand corner on every single kit. I'm not going to do that, but each kit actually makes sense. And so just make sure that it makes sense, because if it makes sense to you, it'll probably make sense to the other students. You'll be able to find what you are actually looking for. If you take a look, I'm going to pull out my other kit real quick. If you take a look here, once you remove that top tray, and we put it to the side, you'll actually see there are 3 bags underneath. So the first bag has all of our bars and beams, and these are like the structure pieces. So there's some that are bigger, there's some that are a little bit fatter, right? There's some that only have 1 row. There's some that are even bent or shaped like an L. But no matter what they are, all the bars and beams go into 1 bag. Okay? So make sure that when we clean up, all those bars and beams go back into the bag. The second bag is full of wheels and tires. Okay? Just a whole bunch of different sizes. Not really different shapes because they're wheels and tires. But all of the wheels and tires go into 1 bag. And then the final bag you'll see in there are what we call our black connector pieces. And these black connector pieces, again, are kind of different sizes, different shapes. But the one thing they have in common is that they are all black connector pieces. And so you will put those black connector pieces back into that bag. So you've got your 3 bags, which organize kind of the bigger pieces. And then we've got that top kit like we saw in the picture here, which organizes the smaller pieces. Just make sure, just make sure that when you put these away, you put them back just the way you found them. That way people know where things are, okay? About your purpose for today, you will be given some time to free build today. because I do want you to practice with the VEX kits. But it's not just about practicing putting the pieces together, it's also about practicing the routines and the expectations for the VEX kits. If we're going to make sure that things run smoothly, if we're going to make sure that these last us not only this year but for many years to come, we're going to need to practice making sure that we do treat these with respect and we treat them responsibly. So let's go over the routines real quick, and then you can practice them. The first one, treat the kits with respect. We talked a little bit about this already, but just make sure that we're not seeing any pieces flying through the air. We're not seeing you try to bend pieces as far as they will go. These kits are pretty durable, but they can break. So just treat them with respect. They're not toys for us. These are tools that we need to treat well if they're going to last us. The second one, only take out the pieces that you're using. There's no reason for us to see you dump out like a full bag of tires and things like that. Look for the piece that you need, put back the pieces that you don't. This is going to help you clean up much easier at the end. It's also going to make sure that pieces aren't falling all over the place or getting kicked or getting lost. And if pieces do fall on the floor, make sure you pick them up. That's number 3. Please don't wait to pick them up. If they fall, and you notice, pick it up immediately. If you don't, the piece might get stepped on and it could break. It might get kicked by somebody, or if you're like me, you're just going to forget that it fell on the floor if you wait. So if you see something fall, pick it up right away, and when we're done, make sure you double check the floor to be sure that there's nothing left on the floor. The more pieces we lose, the less that we have in order to build the things we need to build. Make sure pieces are put back where you found them from. When you're done, everybody should be helping. All eyes should be on where pieces are going. Just make sure they get where they need to go. At that top tray, make it make sense. All the bars and beams are going to go in the bag in the bottom. All the tires are going to go together. All the black connector pieces should go together. So make sure you just put them back where you found them from. Share the supplies. You're never going to have a kit to yourself. And so today you're going to be working in groups of 3. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. But make sure you're sharing the supplies. Not in between groups. We want to make sure that the pieces stay with their kit. So don't share with another group, but share within your group, so that everybody has the opportunity to do a little bit of building today. Number 6, this one's super important. Everybody helps clean up. If I look around, I shouldn't see you just sitting there watching others clean up. At no point. So even if you build individually and you've put your thing that you've built away, help your partners, help another group. The more eyes that we have on things getting cleaned up, first off, the quicker it goes, and second, the better chance it is that everything is going to get cleaned up correctly. So make sure you help each other clean up. There is a lost and found bin on the cart. There's a white bin. Right now there's, as of Monday, there's 1 piece in there. If ever we find a piece on the floor or a piece left out and we don't know which kit it came from, it goes in the lost and found bin. If you're ever missing a piece that we need during a build that we need a specific piece for, first place you go and look is the lost and found bin. So that's what that bin is for. You probably won't use it today unless you find a piece after STEM is over, and then it would go in the lost and found bin. Number 8, just think beyond yourself. And what I mean by that is just remember that you're not the only person in your group. You're not the only group in the class. You're not the only class in the school. And we want to be using these well beyond after you're gone. So make sure that you are thinking about other people. And if you think about other people, you should treat the kits with respect. You should treat them like tools, and we shouldn't have any issues. If ever we do have issues, the first consequence is you sit out for a little bit. Hopefully it will never get to the point where we actually have to take building away from you and you just have to watch us build, because that would be no fun. But if we consistently have problems, if you're not treating these with respect, if you're not being responsible, if you're not helping clean up, that is one of the consequences that we might have. So make sure you practice these routines today. Make sure you follow the expectations today. as you do your build. The biggest issue that we have at cleanup is actually getting the pieces taken apart, and the blue pieces seem to be the hardest ones for students to take apart. So I just wanted to give you just a couple quick tips so that when you get to the cleanup point, you are able to clean up without many problems. So let's say we've got something where we've got things connected into one of our bars and beams, and some of these things are a little bit tough to take out. For most things, like the black connector piece or this rod here, you just got to pull hard. So if I've got it here, I just give it a good tug and it comes out. This one's a little bit more difficult, but it came out. Work with your group to actually do that. Your partners are the first people to go to. If you need help taking things apart, they can try to help you, or another group, they can help you as well. But a lot of things you just kind of have to pull hard in order to get them out. With the blue connector pieces, they're a little bit trickier because they're so small. They're hard to just try to pull out, and it kind of hurts to try to pull them out as well. So what you do is you actually flip it over to the back, and you push on the bottom to pop them out just a tiny bit. You see how that popped out just a tiny bit, and that one popped out just a tiny bit. When you pop it out just a tiny bit, you're then able to pull it out a whole lot easier. So try that. If you need a little bit of leverage, you can use like another piece and push from behind on the blue piece to pop it out a little bit. In worst case scenarios, I left needle nose pliers for today as well, so those can be used if nothing else is working. But try to practice that, because that's, I mean, getting the pieces out is a good skill to have. You're going to have to be able to do it, and I'm not always going to be there in order to help you, so keep practicing those things today as well. Okay, as far as what you're doing today, you are going to work in groups of 3. We can do a group of 4 if we need to. Each group is going to get a kit of their own. Just make sure that when you're carrying the kits around the classroom, using 2 hands, just so that we don't accidentally drop them and pieces go everywhere. Once you get those kits to where you are working, whether it's, I mean, flat surfaces work the best, so a table is great, or the floor is really good, or a group of desks is okay as well. But once you and your group have decided where you're working, just take a second to look at the top tray and the bags and just see how this is organized, because you are going to have to put it back that way. Just start getting an idea of where things actually go, okay? Then, once you've done that, you get to decide what you build today. As long as it is school appropriate, you may build it. Even though you're working in a group of 3, you're working with a group of 3, you can choose to build independently, so each of you builds your own thing, or you can choose to build together. That's okay too. Whatever you decide to do is fine. Just make sure that you keep your pieces with your kit, and we don't do any we don't cross-pollinate by bringing your pieces to another kit. Otherwise, have fun today. Focus on those routines. We're going to end about 10 minutes kind of early to give you plenty of time to clean up, so that you can work on taking those pieces apart, getting them back where they need to go. Before you actually put the kit back onto the cart, be sure to get it double checked to make sure that you have fully cleaned everything the way that you need to clean it up. Otherwise, besides focusing on those routines today, have fun, and I will see you next week. And I'm excited to get our new module started. All right, see you guys.